What's going on, moviegoers? If you're new to the channel, my name is Christian and welcome to Zero Productions. Hashtag release the Ayer cut. Now, with the whole movement of hashtag release the Snyder cut and the grueling 2.5 years that hardcore fans have really pushed trying to promote or trying to convince WB to release Zack Snyder's version of Justice League. And ever since it's been announced, a lot of fans are coming out saying that, well, what about the David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad in 2016? Because we all know that film had a lot of trouble. Suicide Squad was very much rushed, and there were a lot of scenes cut out. A lot of scenes that apparently David Ayer filmed with the Joker, different kind of character arcs. He came out and confirmed that Diablo survived originally at the end of the movie, and Deadshot and Harley had hooked up, and they were kind of in a little romance. They had a thing going on. But with all the reshoots and everything, you know what I mean, the film turned out completely different. And David Ayer, all the time, he drops on Twitter little snippets and glimpses of his version or all the scenes that didn't make the film, especially with the Joker. I feel like he shared a lot of photos that were not used. Well, obviously footage, screenshots that were not used for the final cut of Suicide Squad. And I think that with WB and AT&T coming together and releasing, the whole Snyder Cut thing, I think that there might be a possibility that we do get a David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad. I really do think so. And Suicide Squad didn't bomb at the box office. It made $746 million. That is a huge amount. Huge amount. So, it still made a huge box office success back in 2016. Now, with this particular cut, I'm curious to see what else would be added. Obviously, a lot more screen time for Jared Leto's Joker. I feel like that was such a shortcoming in the final version, the theatrical film. We didn't get a lot, and I was very, very disappointed, not in his performance, but in what we got from the Joker in that film. And I feel like with this kind of Joker, it's very different. It's a gangster Joker. It's not your typical Joker. It's not your, Heath Ledger Joker from The Dark Knight. It's not your Joaquin Phoenix Joker from Joker. It's a very different kind of Joker. And it didn't necessarily sit well with others. And I can see and understand why. Especially after coming off of, Heath's Joker. To be, this gangster Joker, very different and just, you know what I mean? Just not used to what we've seen. At least on screen. It was just a very different interpretation of the character. But if there was more back footage and more story and character arc with this particular Joker, I feel like this Joker could have thrived a lot more. Like, apparently there was a whole third act cut where Joker goes to Enchantress and makes a deal in the third act or some shit like that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of scenes cut out where you see Joker holding a grenade and shit like that, pointing a gun at Harley. He's like half burnt. Like shit like that, I feel like really could have been dope. And, Warner Brothers could have capitalized off instead of giving us a Joker in Suicide Squad who's in all of the movie of 5 fucking minutes. That made no sense to me. So I was like, come on now, you guys are killing me. Like, we want to see more of this particular character, especially Joker. I mean, I would have loved to seen a lot more screen time with Jared Leto's Joker. And I'm going to say this, and I've always been saying this. Jared Leto didn't give us a crappy performance. He didn't. He gave us what he was given. And with, I think, more proper writing and more time and actually got to see more footage of his Joker, I would have liked his Joker a lot more than what we saw in the film. And that's just me being honest with you. We saw him for all of 5 minutes, and it wasn't that impressive, and it didn't leave a stamp on this character like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker did. My favorite Joker, unbelievable performance. Joaquin Phoenix just embodied Arthur Fleck. It was unbelievable. Joker is one of my favorite films last year. And I would love to see a return for that Joker, but I highly doubt that Warner Brothers is going to do a sequel to that film because it's an Elseworlds kind of story, and it's very different film. I don't know where they can go with a sequel, especially the way how it ended. But yeah, man, I'm curious to know more about this David Ayer cut, and if WB and AT&T decide to release it on HBO Max. Now I know, David Ayer has been on Twitter a lot. He's been on Twitter a lot, and he's been sharing, like I said, behind the scenes stuff of his cut. And he apparently AT&T was, they were tweeting back and forth or whatnot, and they said, like, hold your horses, pretty much, like one thing at a time. It was like, well, what are you saying? Like, is there a possibility that we could get a David Ayer's cut on HBO Max? Because that would be so awesome, and I would love to see something like that. Now, I don't know if they would want to do, additional photography and things of that nature. That would be kind of rough to get everybody back, to get Jared back. But hey, you got to get kind of big again. Well, he's already been big for Morbius. You got to shave off your eyebrows. You got to dye your hair green and, return back for the Joker so we can flesh out that third act that, he initially wanted, apparently, with the whole Enchantress thing. But I don't know, man. It's like my feelings for Suicide Squad, they weren't the greatest. There were some awesome elements, cool things I liked. Loved Deadshot. I thought Will Smith really portrayed Deadshot in a badass way, a very poetic way, I think, with him being a badass and arrogant and just smooth with the character. I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it. As far as like that, like everybody else, like Harley Quinn, I'm not the biggest fan of Harley Quinn. I'm not. I watching the animated series, reading the comics, I just never got attached to Harley Quinn like that. So Harley Quinn and like Birds of Prey and Suicide Squad, I've always just been like, okay, like this is a character I don't really necessarily care for. But other than that, legit, like everybody else, like Killer Croc, Diablo, Boomerang was cool. But like that's it. Like, I did not like the design for Killer Croc. I did not. No, characters like Killer Croc have to be CGI. That's like them trying to do, a practical king shark. It just doesn't look good, and it won't. These characters have to be massive. Now, imagine this Killer Croc going up against Batflick. He would get his shit wrecked all over the place, all over Gotham. He would get beat down to the ground. Batman would put the paws on him. Like, it just wouldn't be well. It wouldn't. So I definitely would like a redesign for that character. But yeah, man, like I said, there were cool moments in Suicide Squad. Cool moments. Would a David Ayer's cut be any better than what we got from the theatrical version? Would it be any kind of better? Don't know. But I'm curious to see. I would want to watch it for all the extended footage for Jared Leto's Joker. I really would, because I would want to give his Joker a second shot. I really would. But it's going to be interesting what happens, man. You never know. You never know, man. We got the Snyder cut. And a lot of people said that shit wasn't happening, and now it's happening. So, the possibility is endless at this point. They really are. # release the Trank cut. What does that mean? Josh Trank, Fantastic Four, Fan Four Stick. That was not his final movie. That was not his movie. It legit, the studio came in and ripped it apart. You know what I mean? And maybe with this whole release, the Snyder cut movement and possibly David Ayer cut, maybe this will give the opportunity for studios to learn. Don't mess with the integrity, the vision of your director's movie. Let them flush out their story that they want to make. Who are you to be like, nah, I don't like that. No, I don't like. Just because you own the property doesn't mean you know what's best for the property. That's just being real. Like, I legit don't ever, I can't remember a time of ever hearing a story like this from Marvel Studios, ever doing that to a director. You know what I mean? I know, a couple of directors that have, cut ties or left, or you got replaced, things of that nature. But I've never heard of Marvel Studios be like, nah, we're going to rip apart your movie. We don't like all that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's happened. It's just kept so under wraps, but the film is still uniquely good. Possibilities. But I'm really hoping that Warner Brothers learns from this and really decides to let their directors have the creative control that they are hired with and flesh out the story that they always wanted to intend to tell. That's where I'm coming from. But man, it's gonna be interesting. I'm still so hyped for the Snyder Cut, you guys. I cannot wait for the Snyder Cut. Me and my homie been talking every day. We're like, oh man, what's gonna happen? I have no idea. I just rented Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Pizza Chef, man. My God, that movie was brutal. Really good. Really good. Dark Side. We get to see Dark Side and we get to see Dark Side in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I cannot wait. You guys have no clue how excited I am. I am so pumped for that. We get to see the original look of Steppenwolf in the new Justice League from Zack Snyder. Not that whole redesigned look we got in the theatrical version. Trash, ugly, not whack. Like, we get to see the original version from him in Batman vs. Superman at the end of the movie when he had all the mother boxes and Lex Luthor was with him. We get to see that version. That is what I'm hyped about. Really excited. Backstory on Victor Stone. Backstory on Cyborg. So pumped and thrilled. Black Suit Superman. Cannot wait, you guys. Cannot wait. But the future's looking bright, man. DC's coming. DC's coming hard. Next year, we have the Batman. We had release a Snyder Cut. We had the Suicide Squad. Really excited for that. Really excited. I'm so pumped to see what James Gunn has in store with his version of the Suicide Squad, a sequel to the Suicide Squad. Obviously, it's going to take place outside of Gotham, because that's what the initial team is all about. Suicide Squad doesn't really take place in Gotham. You take them outside of the country, and they're the Suicide Squad. They're the shit show. You hire them to do a job that nobody else will do. You know what I mean? A job to get down and dirty. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see what has in store for that. And of course, Black Adam to end the year of next year. It's going to be really fun. Man, hopefully, you know, these movie studios can start the production soon, because I know Shazam 2 is supposed to start this year. Black Adam is supposed to start this year. And I think Aquaman 2 is supposed to start sometime next year. So we should be in the clear for Aquaman 2. And possibly the Trench spinoff that they have on the works, who knows, and the mascara from the Wonder Woman spinoff. But y'all, I'm hyped. Snyder Cut's coming. A possible David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about the possibilities of AT&T and Warner Brothers releasing a David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Would you want to see this cut if they give him the opportunity to flesh it out and tell his intended story for Suicide Squad? Post your comments down below, you guys. Thank you for taking time out of your day for watching C-Roll Productions. Peace.
We out.